Hey, what's up everyone? It's Duncan from 4xtouring.com. Today's video, long-term review on my DCDC charger. Welcome back everyone. If you are new to my channel, please hit that subscription button and the notification bell. My channel is all about sharing my experiences in overlanding with the rest of the community, and in the process I learn from each and every one of you as well as you leave comments behind. That's knowledge gained for me, so it's two-way as far as I'm concerned. Now today's video I wanted to do a long-term review on the DCDC charger. It's a brand called Intervolt, which is an Aussie product. I think it's manufactured in Western Australia. Now I'll give you a bit of a background as to why I went for that particular product. Now, at the time, this was about 3 years ago, at the time it was keenly priced. That was one, but that was not the main reason why I went for it. Included in the package was obviously the DCDC charger, but it came standard with an LCD display, which would, on the go, as long as the ignition was on, it would tell me how much the voltage in my second battery was. At the same time, it would also tell me how much amps was being pumped in, depending on consumption. So if I had the fridge running, lights running, and whatever else was consuming off the off the second battery, then the amount of amps being pumped in. So that was a plus point for me. Whereas at the time, other brands that were selling DCDC chargers were either not including it as standard, it was an option, or it wasn't there at all. Now, there's been a few examples where it's been very useful to have that readout, and I'll share one of them with you. This was about a year and a half ago when I switched on the ignition and LCD display came on. There was no consumption going off on the second battery because none of the accessories were running, and I knew that for a fact. Yet the DCDC charger was pumping in almost 6, 7 or up as much as 10 at one point amps into that battery. Now I should have known better to realize, or at least ask the question, why is this happening? Because if there's no consumption, there's really no need. And also, while Dicerus remains parked, I always have it on a trickle charger. So that means that battery should have been full by the time when I switched on ignition, and yet so much was being pumped in just to top it up. I didn't take notice of it. That was my fault. Went on a trip, and then halfway through the trip we realized the second battery was not holding its charge. And then in the middle of a rural country, South Australia, I had to go looking for a Deep Cycle battery. Thankfully there was a place which had one battery. Anyway, so those are the advantages, in my opinion, of having the LCD display. Well, the other thing is, when I plug it, when I'm camped out, like right now we are camping, the camping video, which will be in the Adelaide Hills, will be coming out in a couple of weeks time, so keep watching the channel. We're parked here for a couple of days, and we're relying on solar input to keep the battery topped up, because the fridge is running. At night we use our lights, LED lights, which are coming off the battery as well. So it's kind of helpful to know, is the DCDC charger working, how much amps is being pumped in, is the solar blanket doing its job. And that's where again I've found the LCD display to be really useful. So from the longer term perspective, so far 3 years down the track, the DCDC charger has worked very well for me. But I'll show you in a minute what I mean when I say that LCD display is useful. So let's head on over to Dicerus and I'll show you. By the way, if you would like to support me on the channel, I have been starting designing t-shirts, hoodies. These are some of my designs. Obviously an 80 series has to be one, but there's a heaps of others. Land Rover fans, FJ Cruiser fans, they're all available. Head on over to 4xtouring.com, link in the description below as well. And thanks for supporting me. So here we go. So before I get to the LCD display, there you go. So that's the solar blanket. That's a 200 watt solar blanket I've got, and it has been, okay, so that is my DC-DC charger right there, and this is the solar input to the DC-DC charger. Now, I've got glorious sun today, and this couple of days has been fantastic, so a lot of sun coming through. Now, every time I need to check, all I need to do is switch on ignition and the LCD, give it a few seconds, and the LCD display comes on. And right now it tells me the second battery is got 13.2 volts charge and 0.5 amps is being pumped in to keep that battery topped up. Now at the moment, all I have is the fridge running. There is no other accessories running off the second battery. And because I've kept the fridge pretty much cooled overnight, the compressor is not running. I could hear it was not running, so that's probably why it's 0.5. But I've seen it goes between 0.5 when the compressor is not running, and then once the compressor kicks in, it goes all the way up to about 5 amps. That's what my fridge, it's a 40-liter fridge. That's roughly about what my compressor pulls when it's functioning, so 5 amps. So I've been monitoring, and that's been really, really helpful. So that's why I really like this product. I'm not well aware of current day DC-DC chargers that's available. Are other manufacturers providing that LCD display as part of the package, or is it optionally available? But if you are thinking of going for a DC-DC charger, I would recommend, whether it's Intervolt or you're going for some other brand, that doesn't matter, but I would highly recommend try and get one which has that LCD display, unless of course you're going to install another product which will give you that reading, like a readout. But if it is coming as standard, then I would recommend go with that, because it's really useful, and it's extremely useful for me. So I hope you found this video useful. If you got questions or comments or your own experiences with your own DC-DC charger, whatever the brand may be, please leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscription button and the notification bell. I try and bring out a video every single week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Watch out for the camping video. It should be coming out in a week or two's time.